VHS that you don't need.
And we're back. I mean, do you really want to do a chainsaw video with me?
I know.
Tell me all about chainsaws. Go. This will be the chainsaw video. Come on. I'm waiting.
You put the oil in.
You put the oil in, okay.
Yep.
And
you do the chokey thing.
You do the chokey thing.
And you pull the stringy thing.
Pull the stringy thing.
And you go to town.
You go to town.
On the trees.
On the trees.
Not like get in the car and go to town.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wear safety goggles.
Wear safety goggles. Oh boy, you're good. You're real good.
Yeah. I might need chaps and some Kevlar.
You need some Kevlar chaps. You're fired, man.
You want me to show you? I can show you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're rolling. Go grab a saw. Let's do this.
Oh, God.
Anyway, this is not the chainsaw video.
No. No, I would not operate a chainsaw.
You're not the chainsaw person?
No.
Okay.
Not
cool.
at all.
Yeah, I mean, we have been sitting here for 42 hours. You know, still here. It's Wednesday. Still sitting here.
Same time, same place.
Same time, same place. Get a damn job, man. Okay. Jerry O. asked, do we have any advice for people who are traveling to a bug-out location after SHTF? Meaning, the balloon has gone up, you are out there amongst the peoples, probably in Babylon or near Babylon somewhere, trying to come out of it after the event, and now you need to get from where you are to where you need to be. And so he said things like timelines, vehicles, flights are grounded, roadblocks, bridges, etc. So I'm going to start running with this, unless, do you have any deep thoughts on this? Chainsaw related, anything like that?
Know your back roads.
Know your back roads. That's actually a really good place to start, because
I'm the back road queen.
Sometimes I'm like, honey, we need to get there. She's like, I know, but look, there's a lobelia over here.
Mm-hmm. But there's also been instances that, like, when we were in Texas, like, the main road was closed, and I'm like, okay, let's go this way, and we're going. He's like, where are we going?
This is true.
And I'm like, if I just keep going down this road, it's going to turn into this and this and this, and then we'll come out over here. And he's like, huh? And
very true.
So, know your back roads and know them well. Because, like, as far as, like, road blockage.
Yeah, roadblocks, yeah.
Things like that. Like, those are mainly going to be on your main roads, state highways.
Yeah.
You know, you need to know your county roads or, you know, whatever you call them in your area. Mm-hmm. Dirt roads, all of that. So that would be like because that's what I'm big on. I like it. I like
so, yes, it's a very good statement. On my line 1 gear, which basically means in my cargo pocket, is a compass and maps. Printed out maps of my area of operations. They're combo maps which give me the satellite image, the topography lines, and the roads overlaid over the top of it. So I can see where water's at, I can see tree lines, I can see the topo lines for elevation, and I can see where the roads are. And those roads are labeled. USGS.gov. Where? Hey, just click around. The website is kind of archaic and difficult to use, but that's where I get my maps from. But I have maps of my entire AO, as well as if the balloon went up right now, where are we going? I don't even need to go in the house, other than the fact that my kids are in there. I don't even have to go in the house, and we could leave right now, okay? So, the rule of the 7 Ps, proper previous planning prevents piss poor performance. Have maps on you, know where you're going. If you're going to Chicago for the weekend, and things have been rough around Chicago lately, and it might get ugly, you better know before you ever step foot on the plane to go there how you're getting back out again. That onus is on you. Now, you should have at least 3 routes mapped back home, not including the major roadways, which gets back to the know your back roads, right? You asked in here, what about, if flights are grounded and timelines and vehicles and the whole nine. I've hammered pretty hard as far as bug out goes that you need to know how far you can carry a pack in a day. For most people, it's about 10 miles. As an individual, moving as a group, depending on the group that you're moving in, can add or subtract from that. Moving in a family unit, for us, moving with a toddler, I mean, seriously, we might get 3 miles a day.
Right.
But if I had to, under the gun, I might be able to put her on my shoulder and get 10 in a day. Maybe. But that's with 2 kids and you along as well. Right? Like, maybe. But realistically, probably 3, high-end 5. For sure, high-end 5. And the thing with toddlers is, like, they're good, the world's ending. Ha, 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 ha. Ah!
Yeah,
right.
you
And
can't stop it.
no noise discipline. No nothing. So, you want to come say hi? Come say hi. And then, Mom, after this, we'll braid your hair up for your gamer. So, and then while you're going down the trail, your 12-year-old's like, Mom, can you braid my hair? You're like, no, honey, it's SHTF. Okay? So.
Well, but the thing about the car, too, like, if you're in a rural area, you might have areas that you can use a car.
Right.
But if you're coming out of, like, a metro area,
Yep.
look at, like, evacuations on any major disaster. Like, it's gridlock.
Yep.
You need to plan to not have a vehicle.
Well, that's the next thing that I was going to say. It's actually in my notes right here. All systems degrade into a man-portable system. There are nice to have and need to have. Need to have has to be on your person all the time. And this is not a discussion on line gear, but it could easily become that. Line 1, line 2, line 3. Your ruck should have everything you need to have in it. Need to have. On your person should be the bare minimum that you need. If you had to go right now, you can go. Please don't do that. That's how you're going to end up in the hospital and break an ankle. And you have a game in a hot minute. Okay? Okay. Good talk. Preteens are distracting.
Yeah. But that's why you get out while you can. Like, you try to be, get out before the balloon goes
Don't sit
up.
around and go, oh, I think there might be chaos tomorrow. If you think there's going to be chaos tomorrow, go. Right. Go. Leave. Leave. Now. Do it now. Like, leave. But, yes, vehicles are cool until they're not useful anymore. So you should have the things that are nice to have in your vehicle. You should have the things that you need to have on your person. And then with redundancy in your ruck, line 2, line 3. But, I mean, if I needed to get up and walk from here to Southwest Missouri right now, I could. It'd be less than ideal, but I could do it. Right now. Bye. So.
Right. And if your job is something that you have to travel for.
That's a great point. I want to hit that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well.
Go ahead.
You distracted me now.
Oh.
But, and you have family back home. They need to know how to operate with you gone.
Do you mean operate?
Yes, operate.
Operate. Like that?
Yes.
You need to know how to operate. So, that's what she said.
If your home's in North Carolina and
right,
you fly to Chicago.
Right. Now what?
Right. Like, you may never make it back.
Yeah. Or, I'm coming, babe. See you in 8 weeks.
Right.
We had contingency plans in place when I worked in Texas and you were here if then, I was like, listen, if you don't see me within 10 days, something bad has happened. But I'm coming. Like, I'll probably be home in 5, but if you don't see me within 10, something bad has happened. And in the meanwhile, here are your protocols for the next 10 days while I'm gone. This is what you do to lock this place down. But as far as traveling for work, at one point, I had projects going in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area, Florida, and deep South Texas on the Gulf, on the King and Kennedy ranches. And I had to be on those projects at least once each week. And I drove. And I drove because there was hardware and capabilities in my vehicle that I could not fly with. And I wanted to have that hardware and capabilities with me in case the balloon went up. It was a lot of freaking driving. It really was a lot of driving, but it was worth it to me that if something bad happened, I had a vehicle, I physically had a vehicle that I stored fuel in, that I had equipment with, that I had capabilities with, that I could point that thing wherever I needed to go and start going. And then when the wheels fell off of it or I couldn't take it any farther, I could grab my ruck, shoulder that thing, chamber around the rifle, and let's go. And so traveling for work, if you can, drive. I mean, I had a brother just recently tell me he was flying with a box full of hardware going from a place to another place. And what was the one bag that TSA lost? Yeah, the bag that had all of his hardware in it. So even if you're flying with it and it's tagged out and ready to roll, sorry, sir, we lost your package. Now you're waiting for, baggage claim to find your box full of hardware and something happens and now what? So, things to consider. You mentioned carrying cash for bribes or for rides. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But I would not carry large bills. I would carry like 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s. And as many of them as you can get. I am notorious. I've gotten a lot of flack on the YouTubes for carrying a bunch of cash in my plate carrier. Hey, from where I come from, sometimes you got to sling some $100 bills to make stuff happen. So...
Well, and I would almost say, like, break it apart if you do have a large amount of money on you, that if you are hitching a ride and you whip out $100, then you just become a target.
Yeah, or the minimum cost for a ride is $100 now.
Right.
Like, you might have gotten away with 25, but the guy saw a $100 bill, so now it's 100.
So I'd say it'd be better to break that into smaller increments, kind of placed,
right,
throughout, that you can gather, 5 from here and 5 from here, or something. But yeah, if you break out a $100 bill, they're gonna take advantage.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of advantage taking.
Oh heck yeah! It's supply and demand at that point, whatever the market will bear. So, I'm not opposed to carrying cash for bribes at all. Also, command presence, act like you belong there. That has gotten me in and out of a whole bunch of situations that I probably should not have been in or should have gotten out of just by acting like, I tell my son this all the time. Hands out of your pockets where you can use them, chin up, shoulders back, ready to take on the world. And just walking around like that, knife-handing people with your eyes, right? Most people go, oh, wow, that guy is not somebody to be messed with. He belongs here. Now, you add on a hard hat and a safety vest to that, carry a clipboard, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. I could walk into Jeff Bezos' office and take down Amazon that quick by acting like I belong there. And I have way too many stories to share right now that relate to that, but suffice it to say that command presence is a real thing, and it can get you out of a bad spot or into a good spot if you know how to use it and you practice it. It's just the right edge too, because you don't want to be such a total hard ass that now you're on people's radar, but you definitely want to act like you belong, like I'm supposed to be here. And if you believe I'm supposed to be here, people tend to reciprocate with that. They believe what you believe. So if you can sell it, they believe you on it. So all systems are man-portable systems. We talked about that. Oh yeah, don't travel during chaos. or potential chaos. If you think, again, like I said, if you think the world's gonna end on Tuesday, let's not go spend the weekend in Toronto.
Right.
Let's stay home. So don't, it's like that stupid FEMA camp video I did. How do you avoid FEMA camps? Step 1, don't go there. Like, how do you win a fight with a superior force? You leave. Okay, what do you do? So disengaging is strategically engaging. It's living to fight another day, right? So if the world's gonna end, if your spidey senses are all tingling and your gut is wrapped in knots and you don't know what you're gonna do, getting on a plane and going somewhere else is not the answer.
Right.
Going for a long drive away from home is not the answer. I mean, tighten up, harden up. Like, you should have protocols established, benchmarks established for things are bad. When they reach this point, we consider this really bad, and then we do X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. So, how do you mitigate that? Don't travel when things are bad. Now, there's always the chance that something happens right now, a big unforeseen event.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But as much as you can mitigate that, mitigate it. We actually have somebody coming to visit us soon who sent me an email and said, listen, just so you know, I'm making alternate arrangements should I be unable to get on a plane because of this government shutdown and TSA. That's very wise. That's very wise. So there you go. Like, it's contingency planning all the way down, man. And I guess lastly, I'd say groups are a good thing. The right group is a very good thing, because if you're bugging out, like if you have to get from where you are to where you need to be, having a group of well-trained, highly motivated individuals with you can help you make time. Mm-hmm. And when you need to take a nap, you can nap peacefully, knowing that there's somebody who's taking a knee with points out watching your position.
Well, and like if you do have ways to travel, having kind of stop points of people.
That's also in my notes. Yep. Spider points.
Right.
And that's, well, and if you're in a vehicle-borne system, you have multiple drivers, so you can keep the vehicle rolling.
Right.
One person sleeps, one person drives. So going, about the smallest team that anybody will ever be inserted into a bad situation is 2. It's very rare that there's a lone wolf that goes out and does, things on behalf of an agency or a government or anything like that. It's usually 2 people at a minimum, and that's because 2 people are much more effective than 2 individuals. Mm-hmm. 2 people working in concert. So you might consider that as well. If you're going to go into what you would consider to be harm's way during uncertain times, take a buddy with you and have a protocol established with your buddy. If things get sideways, this is what we're doing, man. Cool. And it's also good to have another person to bounce ideas off of, or somebody to navigate while you drive, somebody to keep an outlook while you sleep, or whatever. So, and 2 guns on one target is way better than 1 gun on one target. So somebody's got somebody pinned down, another person is always maneuvering. There's always maneuvering. So I must drink the canteen. What else? Chaos. Da-ba-da-ba-da. Shamanamana. I guess that's it, Jerry O. You got anything else to add?
No.
No?
I think we covered it.
Yeah. I'll say this. We're acting as if this is somebody who's engaged in traveling when the event happens. But what if we're talking about traveling overland from where you are to where you need to be, which is basically like bug out protocol.
Right.
In that regard, I would say stay away from the main roads, which we talked about. Move in a group of competent people, which we talked about. Exercise noise discipline. Understand what your capacity and capability is. How far can you go in a day? Build your systems around the known distance to get from where you are to these different spider points around you.
Right.
If something bad happens to the north, I'm going south. If something bad happens to the east, I'm going west.
Right.
And if
have contingencies.
Yeah, exactly. Know where you're going, and you need to, again, build networks of people. It's great to have one group. It's even better to have multiple groups and arrangements with multiple people. Hey, and we have this. If things get bad there, you come here. If things get bad there, you go here, and everybody kind of bounce around like, pool balls on the pool table, regardless, depending on where the strike happens. Depending on where that cue ball goes, the rest of us all respond in such a way that is away from the cue ball to an area of safety.
Right.
Shabba-dabba-da, why are you texting me, Todd?
And be realistic with those locations. Like,
right.
If something's, 400 miles away,
that's a vehicle-borne system, 8 to 10 hours overland in a vehicle to get there. Well, not even overland, on the roads. Right. 2 to 3 days overland and back roads, potentially. Do you have the fuel? Do you have the personnel? Can you make it happen? So forth and so on. But probably the number one piece of advice for all of this is plan it out. Have the maps, know the routes that you're going to go, know where you're going before something happens. Before, the SEALs are famous for saying getting there is half the fun, right? And so is getting back out again. Extraction is one of the biggest parts of mission planning that people forget about. They just figure we're going to get in there and do our job and it'll all be good. But you can get in there, do your job, and then have things go completely sideways trying to get back out again. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to get there? What are you going to do while you're there? And then how are you getting back out again? All of that should go into your mission planning, which is going to inform what your actions look like while you're bugging out, right? I'm getting from where I am to where I need to be. This is what it should look like, knowing that you're married to the tenets of the plan, not the plan itself, because no plan survives first contact with the enemy. Meaning, stuff's going to fall apart, right? So it doesn't matter that we take the Chevy Suburban from here to, Ross Perot's house that we're going to bug out to, right? What matters is that we take a vehicle there, not necessarily the Chevy, and if not a vehicle, then what really matters is that we all get there. Mm-hmm. And if what really, really matters is maybe that we all survive, but half of us stay here while half of us go there to get help and then come back. So it's like understanding the facets of the plan. There's degrees to all of this. But you should be wargaming this. You should be wargaming the crap out of this stuff now while you have the leisure to do so. So that the last thing that should ever happen to any of us is that we get caught by surprise. Like, it's very hard to counter an ambush. Very hard. Mm-hmm. Speed, surprise, and violence of action usually wins. So the only way that we're going to counteract that is by lots of planning and by lots of vigilance. So don't put yourself in harm's way and know what you're doing when things go sideways. And it's not just enough that I know, you also have to know.
Yeah.
Because if we're 40 seconds into the conflict and I take a round through the cheek and it goes in here and comes out the backside and there's gray matter everywhere, you need to know what the plan is. I'm not going to be able to tell you.
Right.
Right? So groups, communications, planning. Don't go to the airport during the government shutdown. Yeah, vigilance. Got anything else to add? Mm-mm. Cool, you ready to do that chainsaw video now? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Go braid hair. I'll do a chainsaw video.
Okay.
Up top.
Thank you.
I love you. Shalom.